Thank you, Bill. Well, ladies and gentlemen, you're very welcome here to the first session. As Bill said, we have three of our 2015 scholars coming back with what will be three very interesting presentations. Bill has already been through them, so I think we'll just start with John's. So first up, we have John Buckley on people skills, the biggest challenge facing Irish agriculture. And just while you get set up, a piece of housekeeping, we're going to run the three presentations in a row first and have the questions and answers at the end. So if you have any questions, write them, particularly from the first couple of presentations, write them down so we'll have them all at the end, okay?
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name is John Buckley, and my nothing report is entitled People Skills, the Biggest Challenge Facing Irish Agriculture. When I set out on this journey 2 years ago, I wanted to research ways of setting up and managing a second dairy unit. But what became apparent early on in my travels was to successfully grow any business, good people management skills were necessary, and herein lies one of my own weaknesses. So the objectives for my topic were as follows: to provide sound advice to farmers looking to attract and retain good people, identify good people management skills used by farmers worldwide, how can Irish farmers become the employer of choice for its young people, and what can industry and other stakeholders do to support their farmers to become better employers. My travels took me to France, UK, Washington, California, Mexico, Brazil, Australia, New Zealand, and Denmark. To value somebody's time, we first of all need to value our own. Currently, neither the Profit Monitor nor the National Farm Survey takes anything into account for the work done by the farmer or by family labour. No other business prepares its budgets without including its entire labour bill. It is usually stated at open days and farm walks today that the workload on farm is managed by the farmer and casual labour. This is a very misleading statement. What is casual labour? Is it an hour a day or is it 70 hours a week? In fact, it belittles the labour requirement of farms today. There are many myths associated with farm work. The perception is it includes long hours, 7 days a week. To be fair, it is difficult to disagree with these. Long hours are worn like a badge of honour by many. However, from my research, these people tend to be poorly organised, operate bad systems, and are dreadful time managers. Many people also believe that farmers make bad employers. From my research, farmers throughout the world, given the necessary resources and training, along with the right attitude, make some of the best employers. Technical ability and hard work will not be enough to manage the modern farm. Good people management skills and leadership will be key. Attracting good people. There is no simple solution to this. For farmers who have built up a strong business over many years, largely through working on their own, it takes a mindset change to sharing power and giving responsibilities to others. It is a daunting task for many. A good reputation certainly makes attracting good people easier. Word of mouth is by far the best advertisement. Farmers need to be conscious of their reputation when dealing with people. On my travels, a simple farm system, along with clear standard operating procedures, was seen as vital. Technology can play a significant role in developing these standard operating procedures. Farmers I have visited uses pictures taken with their smartphones or using GoPros to capture videos to explain clearly how jobs are to be done. All too often, the job available on farm is not clearly understood. For example, if a farmer has a 150 cow herd and he plans to employ a full-time farm manager, yet he intends to stay full-time involved as well himself. Soon, an employee gets frustrated as they planned on making the decisions, but yet find themselves no more than a general farm worker. So what are the characteristics of a good employee, or a good employer, sorry? A good employer is capable of leading from the front. They do not sit in offices all day. They are true to their word, or as one farmer I visited said, they under-promise and over-deliver. They are respected and respectful. They are motivated and capable. They are not alone able to communicate clearly and directly, but they are excellent listeners. They value people over money, but they also have the courage and self-awareness to stand up and say no when required. Recruiting good people. What are the millennial generation of today looking for? This generation work to live. They want flexibility, routine, roster time off, all with a fair and competitive remuneration. They want to be treated with respect, be part of something bigger, all within a positive and progressive atmosphere. And I believe agriculture can provide all these. A question I asked in my travels is, what are the characteristics of a good employee? The unanimous decision, or the unanimous answer by everyone, was attitude. If the employee has the right attitude, then skills can easily be taught. Honesty, reliability, and an ability to work as part of a team were also significant characteristics. Remuneration is a thorny issue. Employers want to pay as little as possible. Employees want to earn as much as possible. The general consensus is to pay slightly on or slightly over the going rate. I'd expected bonus structures to be a significant feature on all farms visited. I was quite amazed to find they weren't. What I learned is bonus structures or bonuses become expected by employees, and bonuses only motivate for short periods of time. But farmers that did have bonus structures targeted them at chronic problems, innovative or new ideas, or on key performance indicators that had a significant knock-on effect on farm profitability. Retaining good people. The most underrated attribute of most successful businesses is their ability to retain people. However, staff turnover is inevitable. In New Zealand, the average period of tenure by farm staff is 1.6 years. But all this being said, constant turnover of staff is very disruptive to a business and comes with a significant hidden cost. Dr. Aoife Lyons of Alltech says it costs up to twice a person's salary to replace them. This is due to recruitment costs, loss of productivity, the need for extra cover, training, upskilling, etc. The loss of good staff directly affects the profitability of a business. Therefore, it is cheaper to invest in good people rather than replace. I cannot stress enough the importance of good communication. One thing I'm guilty of is take it for granted that someone knows how to do a job just because they came from a dairy farm. People are only as good as what they have experienced in life. Therefore, it is very important to clearly explain what is required to get a job done. Listening is a vital part of good communication and, technology. Technology plays a very important part in aiding good communication. Farmers I visited used messaging apps such as WhatsApp to keep everyone on farm up to date with what's happening. They used cloud-based programs such as OneNote to share information such as farm maps, etc. And all the farm software providers have apps for the phones to share and save livestock and grass data. Ongoing training. We spend 150,000, for example, installing a milking parlour, and we might spend 5 or 6 grand a year on maintaining it. We pay an employee 30 grand, for example, and we spend nothing on training and upskilling them. Then when we leave, we wonder why they were unsuccessful. To make an employee feel valued, training is very important, be this through online courses, workshops, or just simply on-farm assignments. Mentoring is another important element to retaining good people. We must empower our people. We need to show them how to do a job, give them the responsibility to go and make decisions themselves. Team reviews are a very interesting concept. Some farmers I have met in my travels who have really struggled with people skills have found that team reviews work well. Not alone does the employer review the employee, but the employee also reviews the employer. To be honest, it's not an easy thing to do as an employer, but if you genuinely want to improve your ability to retain people, then it is a well worthwhile exercise. All right. Exit interviews are a new concept to me. Understanding why people leave is an important part to remedying any issues that may cause future employees to leave. So, ladies and gentlemen, the recommendations from my travel are that we need good representation at the Joint Labour Committee for Agriculture. The JLC system provides a framework in which employers and employees' representatives can come together and negotiate terms and conditions for workers in their respective categories. TAGIS need to improve their focus on people. We need courses tailored for farmers in human resources. We need a central online human resource website similar to that provided by Canadian Agricultural Human Resource Council or by Dairy NZ in New Zealand. We need specimen agreements for farmers to use when employing people, and I believe the IFA and TAGIS are well placed to provide these. We need our TAGIS advisors trained to identify and help with on-farm employee issues. We as employers need to view staff as an investment, not just as a cost to our business. And finally, we need to embrace technology to aid good and clear communication. I'd like to thank the FBD Trust for their kind and generous sponsorship of my scholarship, and in particular to their chairman, Michael Buckley, who's been very helpful and supportive. I'd like to thank Nuffield Ireland, and especially to John Tyrrell and Bill O'Keefe for all their help and support. I'd like to thank my mentor, Aisling Meehan, who has been of huge benefit to me over the last 2 years. I'd like to thank the Brazil GFP group, as this was a big eye-opening experience for me. And finally, none of this would have been possible without the help and support of my family and friends during the last 2 years. I met Stuart Taylor, a dairy farmer in New Zealand, and I spent a day with him, and this was something that really stuck with me. Farmers run their farms with just enough staff. When things go wrong, they get desperate. And desperate farmers make desperate decisions and end up employing desperate people. Then the law protects the employee. Thank you very much.